Hey, what's up? Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all a story time, okay? Don't pay none of this no attention, like my dark circles and stuff. Pay it no mind. My period bump. Don't pay it no mind. But anyway, I was talking to my cousin today, right? And she was talking about when I was little and she was a teenager. She was like 13 and I was like 9, right? So my father's sister, Aunt Rose, she lived in Buffalo. So he would send us to go visit her. He sent my cousin because she was, over 12 and she could take me on a plane, right? So we would go visit her. And my aunt, oh my gosh, she would burn everything. She constantly burnt food. And I was spoiled, right? I'm the baby. Like, my brothers are 8 and 9 years older than me, right? So I would go over my aunt's house, right? And she would be like burning all the food, burning everything. Yes, I got a situation going on. But she would burn everything. So I was like, yo, I'm not eating. So I used to be about to fall out and faint. Like, oh, so I was about to faint because I was spoiled. I was used to, if I wanted McDonald's or pizza or whatever, candy, cookies, whatever, my parents would, give it to me. She didn't have snacks like that. And so my cousin was like, you kept trying to spend all the money, my father gave us to spend, for snacks and stuff like that. I'll be like, I want McDonald's. So I told y'all, I starved myself. I'll be about to fall out. I was stubborn. Like, I wouldn't eat for a week. And so my aunt, she'd be like, go get her something, Burger King or whatever, right? So they would go get me Burger King. I hated Burger King, but it would do at that moment. So I ate the Burger King, right? And then like I starved myself again because I didn't like her cooking. And then I was so bad. I was like, the only thing she could cook is like popcorn to me. And because she melted the butter. She didn't make microwave popcorn. She like melted the butter. She like put all this popcorn in a big paper bag and poured like real butter on the top, right? Whatever. So then we would smell weed, right? And so my parents was L7s, right? My mother, she was a Christian, right? So they didn't drink or do drugs. My father would drink beer, like a Heineken, like during a football game or something like that. But it wasn't like a everyday thing. My parents didn't drink like that, or they didn't do drugs. So when we smelled the weed, that was drugs to us, right? We was like we was acting like it was crack. Well, I was so dramatic. So I told my cousin, I said, I was bad, like Dennis the Menace. I was like, she lighting those incense to try to cover it. I said, so what we going to do is when she leave out the house, we're going to steal, one of her marijuana joints and put it in our suitcase, and we're going to take it home to my parents, and we're going to show them that she does drugs. She does drugs, right? And my cousin was like, no, we're not getting on a plane with that. We're not getting on the plane with the drugs, right? We thought it was drugs, right? I went in her room. I went in here. She wasn't there. So I took and I stole. It was like like a roach or something. I stole it. And I was like, we're going to put it in our suitcase. My cousin made me, well, no, I think she took it back in there. And she put it back in my aunt jewelry box. But we was talking about that today. She was like, oh my God, you was a bad little kid. I was a bad little kid. Like, my parents would they would bring me like McDonald's for lunch or Italian hot dogs because I didn't like school lunch. So I was like real spoiled. I was really bad, like really bad. Like my cousin who, went with me over my aunt's house who lived in Buffalo. When I did that in Jersey, like, my aunt, she had 4 kids, so she was not buying all of those McDonald's. So I would go see my best cousin so we could play, with our He-Man, Thundercats, Transformers and stuff like that. We would play with them, right? And so, my aunt, I was like, I want McDonald's. And she was like, no. She was like, I'm going to take you home. I'm going to spank you. She had a Great Adventure spoon. It was giant. And she hung it above her sink. So she was like, I'm going to take you home. I'm going to spank you if you don't eat. It was like, she had like regular food. Like, it could be like stew beef and freaking, what is that noise? It could be stew beef and, freaking rice and gravy. What, Ma? She called me every second. But anyway, so she'd be like, I'm going to spank you if you don't eat your food. Like, it was horrible over there. So, like, I have to eat my food because I wanted to play with my cousin and stuff like that. And then we was talking about how my grandmother, right, she'd be like, who in my living room? Because back in the day, like, I told y'all, we had mad cousins. My grandmother had 15 children. I think like 9 of them was alive. So all of them people had children. Like more than 4 children. Except for my mom had 3. So, me and my best friend, Boopy, right? We would be freaking playing in the living room because I didn't want the other kids. Like, I was real spoiled and nice, nasty. I didn't want them like breathing on, oh, I look a hot mess, yo. But I didn't want them breathing on my freaking toys, right? She had the 2 big sliding doors, right? So we closed them. We was little. We closed them. We playing with our toys and shit. And my grandmother be like, she was blind because she had diabetes, right? So she be like, who in my living room? Right? She ain't know. Who in my living room? They be like, oh, that's Lisa and Boopy. And she be like, don't go in my living room. You gonna break up my whatnots. And she was like, we be like, Nana, you always saying this every time. She be like, I don't care if I told you 11 times. Because my grandmother was from Fayetteville, North Carolina, right? So that's how she talked. But yeah, that's my story time about how I was so bad. Like, I was very spoiled. Like, I would call my father, like a couple of times at least a week in high school to tell him to come pick me up. Like, I'd be like, can I go to the bathroom? They'd be like, yeah. And like in the 90s, we had payphones, right? So I'll call my father. I'll be like, Daddy, come pick me up. Come pick me up. Come sign me out. So my daddy, he'll come pick me up. Because my father had sarcoidosis. So he retired at 45. And so he was home. So he would come pick me up. And we would like go to Charlie's other brother. Or we go to Charlie Brown's and had corned beef pastrami. Like, I was spoiled. Like, I could call him. He literally would sign me out. And I could just chill. Like, so when my father died, I was so sad. But yeah, that's some story time for y'all. And don't pay attention to this situation. This is just the rawness and the period bomb. So, all right, bye y'all. I love black people who love black people. Mwah. Bye y'all.